Hi everyone, Laura Koval here. So I'm out here today planting some of the things that I'm going to continue to plant in my fall garden. I already have some broccoli and some cabbage and cauliflower plants that I've been working on, and those guys are going to come out here soon. But one of my favorite types of seeds is anything you can direct sow. And direct sow just means you can take your seed, take it out of the packet, put it in the ground, and it'll grow from there. It saves work and it saves money because seeds are going to be cheaper than buying transplants from a garden center. And if you're growing them on your own inside, that takes some time. So some of the other ones that I've already gotten started need a little bit longer to mature, so they'll be going out shortly. But I wanted to share with you some of the direct sow seeds that will be going in the garden shortly here. So the first couple are things that I'm going to have frost protection on for a while. That can be a lot of things. We have a little hoop house that we use. We also have a pop-up greenhouse. You can just do floating row covers or frost covers, but that can extend your season. So these are all things that actually like warmer weather, but we're going to get them through the first few weeks of winter or first few months, depending on how much we want to do, just by providing them some additional protection from the cold. Right now, soil temperatures are still good enough to plant some of these warmer weather vegetables. So if you're planning on doing season extension, now is the time to plan that out and figure out what you need to get in the ground. For us, that is going to look like cucumber. We're going to plant another cucumber plant because ours has since kind of gotten spent. Since we garden organically, there are a couple things that got to it that it got some disease. So we decided we're just going to start some new ones. The other one that we're going to do is squash. So if you've watched my video on the squash vine borer, those are terrible. They're awful in the summer, but a great way to extend your season is to start planting now because there won't be as much borer activity once these guys reach maturity. Again, these are going to be under frost protection, but a good time to get them started, and we'll be direct sowing these. The next one is a few types of herbs that we're going to be planting in our herb tower. So we have a garden tower. If you go to Garden Tower Project, you'll see what those look like. But we like to keep herbs in there because each little compartment is the ideal space for them. Again, this is going to be under frost protection, so even some of our things like mammoth dill that I've saved my seeds from, those guys are going to be thriving here shortly as long as they have some protection. So we're going to probably do some dill, some parsley, cilantro, some of those, so we have a nice extended season and then we can preserve them for the winter. Then we're moving into some of our cooler weather stuff, and that's going to start with carrots. We have two types of carrots here. I'll probably plant about 6 kinds. I love these black nebula ones. We have some pictures up on social media of them. They're just gorgeous, beautiful on the table. And then scarlet nantes are a really kind of traditional variety. They do great. Carrots are going to do well into the first frost, so you just want to be sure that your soil temperature doesn't get too cold. But frankly, we've even grown these guys over the winter here. They'll hang out in the ground until you're ready to pick them. So carrots can go in now. Again, you might want to provide a little frost protection, depending on the variety and depending how many days they are to harvest. The next thing we're going to be planting is lots of different lettuces. And I think I only brought one packet out. This was free seed that they sent me, but they just so happened to send me one of my favorite lettuce varieties. This is Tom Thumb. As you can see, they get these cute little heads of lettuce, very compact, incredibly tasty. You can harvest a whole head, rinse it off, and just eat it with a knife and fork, kind of like a wedge salad. All of our lettuces and salad greens, where it's been way too hot for them during the day right now, are about to go in the ground because soil temperature is coming down a bit with cooler nights. So lettuces will be going in. The other thing that we'll be doing, probably alongside our carrots, are other root vegetables, such as turnips. So here is some turnip seeds here. These guys are delicious roasted. If you're not too familiar with turnips, they taste delicious. So these are a great root vegetable, again, very frost hardy, so these will serve you well. Next up are bunching onions. I prefer to do bunching onions to regular onions because you get a bigger harvest. These guys will be ready in about 2 months. Maybe a little bit longer since our days are getting shorter. They get pretty small, about the size of maybe a small shallot. But that way you can just roast the whole onion. They grow quickly, and bunching onions have a much shorter day to harvest than traditional ones. Next up are other greens that we'll be doing. So we have kale here, and actually we have 2 types of kale. We have our giant 1,000-head kale. This will be under frost protection. We'll keep it going all winter. We also have yellow heart winter choy here, which is this beautiful choy that will last us through the winter, and also Japanese giant red mustard. Mustard greens are another terrific cooking green. These guys are going in as well. Next up, we have beets. So beets are one of my favorite things to grow. I think the quality of them is so much better when you plant them in your home garden. And I love golden beets. My husband loves golden beets. They have a really nice, delicate flavor to them. Beets will be growing in the ground pretty soon here. I probably will wait a week or two because they really don't mind the cool nights, but they don't love the heat. So you want to be sure you'll get good germination rates. So I'll wait a little longer. And then last but not least, we have two that I'm going to wait a couple weeks to put in the ground, and then they will be starting to grow. The first one is peas. Peas are a little more tricky in the fall because these guys really don't like heat. So you want to try to time it as well as you can to get them in when it's not going to be super hot. So we'll probably get these guys started here soon. We'll plant them out. You can even try planting them or starting them indoors, soak them and just set them under a damp paper towel to get them to sprout. Peas are really fun to grow though. And one thing that people don't typically use them for is to eat the pea shoots, but the shoots and the leaves are fully edible and they have a nice pea flavor that they'll add to any salad or dish you have. And then last but not least, one of my last guys to go in this year will be radishes. There's no need to rush to get your radishes in the ground. These guys don't like hot and it's still going to be very warm here. Plus they only take about 30 to 45 days to get a radish on them. Usually my fall harvest, the radishes themselves are a little bit smaller, but we still get a great harvest from them. So that's what we'll have going in the ground. If you all have other things that you are planning on planting here coming up, let us know. We all love to hear what everyone has going on for their fall garden. So let us know what you're planting. Hope this helped you to get some new varieties to plant for fall, and happy gardening.